James Franklin calls his program great. He's wrong about that, by the way. But he wants to be elite. Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football, on Penn State's 2019 schedule and record projection next. Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football, here to break down Penn State's schedule for 2019. It's our schedule rankings that we release each and every off-season. We've arrived at schedule number 41. Before we dive into the Nittany Lions this fall, let's remind you that you can help us build the channel. It is very critical that you help us build the channel by doing your Amazon shopping using the link in the description section below. You can do your regular shopping. Doesn't cost you an extra penny. You don't have to buy anything special. Just do your Amazon shopping using the link in the description section below. Also, join us at our Voice of College Football community that we're building on Patreon, and a lot of exciting news ready to be announced there. All right, Penn State's schedule. Here we go. Of course, they've got the one big non-conference game against Pitt. The two schools had not played for years and years and years, going back to 2000. They've played the last few seasons, with Pitt winning in 2016, even though Penn State rallied to win the Big Ten championship and go to the Rose Bowl. Now, the last two seasons, Penn State has had its way against Pitt, including a 51-6 drubbing of the Panthers in 2018. That's after Penn State has had a couple light touches against Idaho on August 31st and against Buffalo September 7th, although, of course, the Bulls have been quite a force in the MAC and came within seconds of winning the MAC championship last year. So that's Penn State's non-conference schedule. It's pretty light: Idaho, Buffalo, and a mid-tier ACC team, although the team did win the Coastal Division championship last year, a 7-7 Pitt team from 2018. All right. It's always the big question: who do you play in the other division? That determines how tough that conference schedule is. And for Penn State, they've got some decent teams, but not the upper echelon of what is expected to be the upper echelon of the Big Ten Western Division. They play Purdue, and they've got road games against Iowa and Minnesota. And their Big Ten schedule opens up after a bye week on September 27th at Maryland. So that's actually a Friday night in the Big Ten, a rare Friday night affair in the Big Ten. They just started playing Friday night games just a few years ago. Penn State at Maryland, September 27th. Then the Nittany Lions face their most difficult stretch of the season, starting October 5th. So for the month of October, they've got Purdue, Iowa, Michigan, Michigan State. Purdue, Iowa, Michigan, Michigan State. Last year, the Nittany Lions slipped by the Hawkeyes at home. This time, they have to travel to Kinnick Stadium in one of the more tough environments in college football. And then Michigan, Michigan State, of course, crucial games in the Big Ten Eastern Division back-to-back. And Penn State lost to Michigan State last year. They did defeat, or they lost to Michigan as well. They were drubbed by Michigan at the Big House, and they've got them at home this year, a year removed from Saquon Barkley tearing up the Wolverines in Happy Valley. So these two schools have been generally playing on even ground back and forth in the series since Penn State joined the Big Ten. Bye week to begin November, and then the final four of the season for Penn State: at Minnesota, Indiana at home, big game at Ohio State, and then Rutgers. So for the last two seasons, Penn State has had the Buckeyes on the ropes. This past year, they led 26-14 with about 6 minutes left, and they could not hold Dwayne Haskins down in the final two drives of the game, and the Buckeyes pulled it out 27-26 in Happy Valley. And, of course, a season earlier in Columbus, Penn State led it 28-10, let it slip away, and the Buckeyes rallied 39-38 behind a sterling performance by J.T. Barrett, 39-38. So the past two seasons, Penn State has held big leads, double-digit leads late, and lost by 1 point to their arch nemesis, Ohio State, in the Big Ten Eastern Division, and they finish off with Rutgers. This is the 11th rated schedule in terms of difficulty in the Big Ten, according to Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football. Number 41 in the nation. It belongs to Penn State. No truly difficult non-conference game. Pitt's a marginal team out of the ACC, and then again, Idaho and Buffalo. Minnesota, Iowa and Purdue, the three teams that Penn State draws out of the Big Ten Western Division. Of course, they've got to deal with the strength of the Big Ten in its own division, Ohio State, Michigan, and Michigan State, with that brutal October stretch of Purdue, Iowa, Michigan, and Michigan State. We project right now, in May, not my final prediction, but right now projecting Penn State to go 6-3 in the Big Ten, 9-3 overall. That will not be good enough to get the Nittany Lions back to the Big Ten championship game. All right, Penn State football, what do you think? Record-wise, schedule-wise, your thoughts on James Franklin and the bunch in Happy Valley, right here at Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football. Please subscribe. Keep it locked in. We provide you with the best discussion, debate, and analysis each and every day leading up to 2019 kickoff.